the pitch. It is No Team going up against 100 Thieves Academy. As we all know, with the amateur team so far, things haven't been necessarily the greatest. There are some fantastic academy teams going on here, and they need to be showing up today if they want to be making it on to the next round. But No Team, I think, has a really good shot. Over at the bracket, all the other ones, either for amateur, have been knocked out on the play-ins. They have been knocked down to lowers. But this is the chance for No Team to kind of switch the game up here, Smacks.
For amateur, we definitely saved the best for last here, Sierra. For both No Team and 100 Thieves next, those are the only amateur teams we have not gotten a chance to see in this tournament up until this point. Those are the only teams in the amateur side of things that have won the qualifiers. There were 2 qualifiers. 100 Thieves next won the first one 3-0 against Golden Guardians, and No Team won the second one 3-2 against, or 3-1, excuse me, against Taco Gaming. So we've saved the winners until the last few games here. We're going to be seeing 100 Thieves next tomorrow. This is where we're expecting amateur to be more competitive, and it comes from No Team's really solid team fighting and their general jungler here, Griffin, who's only 15 years old.
I love these pitch. I forgot about this. Production showed us right at the beginning. I forgot. I want to know who did this. I want a commission.
I can tell you. I can tell you who did this. I actually, I talked to XT about this. He's the manager of this team. He said it was someone named the Taco-inator, and I don't know who that is, but they are the ones who made the art of the champions here.
What a name!
Oh, that is amazing.
That's awesome, and such an amazing drawing as well. You're right. There's a lot of great players to look up from No Team to be trying to take down this 100 Thieves Academy roster, but we know Thieves Academy, there are some good players among themselves here, Magical.
Well, I mean, you look over to 100 Academy, and this is a team that going into the beginning of the year, a lot of people put at the top of the standings. This was a team everyone was looking at. You look at Wixie Busio, this rookie bot lane. Busio lane swapping from mid to support, but being a dominant player as this leader for 100 Thieves. You look at Jimian coming in from yes, another dominant mid laner. Kenvi has been a great, outstanding jungler for quite some time in this sphere. And Gomsu is Gomsu. Gomsu's always been really good. On paper, you think this team's going to be absolutely fantastic, but they did have a lot of issues. You look at how they performed in the spring split. It's been high highs and low lows. And looking at how they can really move on from that, hopefully they have the performance like they did in the play-in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And what I'm most excited for looking at this matchup is this jungle matchup. First off, Griffin, No Team, 15-year-old insane legend. I don't think it can be described any other way. Griffin is one of those players that consistently just shows up, Smacks.
He's been so impressive on a multitude of different styles as well. I think the things he is best at are the farming champions like the Olaf, the Graves, the Hecarim. These champions where he can get a lot of the resources for himself and fully take over games from here. I mean, you can even see right here, he's playing Kayn of all champions, just trying to be the carry force for this team. And it works out a lot of the time because his team fighting, his skirmishing is so good. And the rest of the team has really been following up on that very well as well. Like I just said, they won the most recent tournament playing together as a team, and while their early games didn't look as good in that finals, their team fighting was top notch.
Playing since 7 too. That is absolutely wild to me, because as someone who is not that young anymore, I have been playing League since I started back in college when it first came out. That should show you how old I am already. And I thought I've been playing for a long time. I've been playing since season 1, yet you have people who've been playing more than half their lives in this one game.
I mean, there's a reason that he's so good, and he's going to be going up against Kenvi for in the jungle. I mean, Kenvi as well, Magical, has been a very impressive player.
Well, Kenvi, when he first joined in with 100 next not last year, 2 years ago, he was this player with tenacity that everyone looked at as being the upcoming jungler that you had to keep your eyes out for. And even looking at last year, he was this insanely talented jungler. So going into 2022, it was expected the same. And you've seen a lot of the successes for 100 Thieves Academy have been off the back of Kenvi. Getting these early plays, these early leads, going lane to lane to lane, constantly trying to set up his teammates for success, but also having just great hands. And I will say, That's why I'm so excited to see how he's going to play up against this rookie jungler in Griffin. He's got a little bit more experience. We've seen him a little bit more than Griffin has. Both of them, I think, are on a very similar kind of path. Griffin's just the beginning of his, but it looks really reminiscent of what we had seen from Kenvi previously.
And even through some team struggles, he still looks like one of those junglers that you want to promote to LCS very soon. He should be playing in that league when he is playing at his peak, and that is what we're expecting today, that his team and himself will be playing at that peak, and hopefully they can keep the momentum going, because they did have a pretty easy time with the 2-0 in the play-in.
Yeah, well, it's time now to see whether that momentum can keep going or if there's going to be a little disturbance out in the forest. It is time for the champ select, and it's time for you two to take the show away. Going to catch up with you two later, but have fun.
Thank you, Sierra. We will see you for our halftime show, but this is going to be a tough one for 100 Thieves Academy. We have yet to have an amateur team take down an academy team, but with the number 2 amateur team, the team that had just recently won the Proving Ground Circuit Qualifiers number 2, going up against 100 Thieves who have just won in the play-ins to move on to face them. This is a really, really close match when you just look at it on paper alone.
We're going to throw the number out there again here. Academy is currently 16-1 against Amateur. And the only losses they have taken so far are 1 to Maryville in the play-ins, and 2 that you just watched before. And that was against another Academy team. So for the Academy side of things, they've really leveled up their play, and they've really been looking dominant in this tournament. But as you said, Magical, no team are the big hope here on the amateur side of things, along with 100 Thieves next. As we do get into this draft, we're already seeing that Zeri is off the board, and potentially more interestingly, the Olaf and the Karma taken away.
So, Karma, we've been seeing a lot of high priority in bans lately to take her away. Not really getting too many people who let that one through, but the Olaf surprises. Just to see that taken away from both Dragoon and Griffin. I do say Dragoon because this player has played a lot of unique champions in the top lane. He doesn't necessarily stick to what everyone says is meta. I remember last year when I was casting in the Proving Grounds open qualifiers, where he was playing a Trundle top lane and nearly took down the Nexus one hit away when you tried to backdoor that down. And you can see, they are respecting the hell out of this top laner.
This is so interesting. The 100 Thieves are just taking away comfort picks away from No Team. No Team doing the exact opposite. They're removing a lot of these marksmen that have been dominant for the entire year of 2022. And Yuumi off the board, just in case Busia wants to throw anything really crazy into the mix. With Kai'Sa locked in, we mentioned in the previous series that this is a flex pick between mid and bottom lane, but we're definitely assuming that Wixie is going to be playing this one until further notice, as this champion really does fit into what Wixie has been known to do even before he joined this team on 100 Thieves Next, when he was on Cloud9 Amateur last year, and in some collegiate teams before that, he was known for having a very dominant laning phase and mainly playing things like Draven to accomplish that.
And I also am looking, as you talk about, Wixie's champion pool in the spot lane, he has a very powerful champion set, and the Kai'Sa is something that can easily play, but 100 Thieves on the very last day of Academy were the first team in the Academy scene to pull out that Kai'Sa mid lane. Jimmyan played it in the second game, the last one of the entire split against Dignitas Academy. It lost that game, but we know that they are capable of that, especially when we look at the rest of the draft. That could possibly be a Graves for him, not necessarily just for Gamsu. There's a lot of flexibility they have from all of these lanes.
This draft is already very interesting here in Mad Magical, with the Kai'Sa that you're referring to, but also this Xayah, a very heavy priority on this champion that sort of hasn't been in the meta in a very large way up until very recently with the lethality build, where you go for Muramana and Eclipse most of the time. So for Scooped, going to be pulling that one out. Can't be paired with Rakan, as Busio does not want that to happen. He will take that champion and that mantle for himself. But it is still something that can be obnoxious to lane against with the extra lethality. And you typically do go summon Airy as well, just to bolster that poke even further.
Yeah, just to try to get more damage in the lane phase, especially if it doesn't end up being Kai'Sa bot lane. You got that extra range in the lane phase that you can exert over Kai'Sa and Rakan as a duo, since you usually get that extra range with Rakan when with the Xayah. So we'll see what ends up being the case. To get into the second part of the ban specs, Specs is a good ban away, making sure Jimmy can't play that into Ari that we've seen in the past. I'm wondering if they'll follow up with a Vygar ban, another one of those good picks into Ari.
Certainly could be the option here. On the other side for 100 Thieves next, or 100 Thieves Academy, excuse me, my word. We got 200 Thieves teams in this tournament, so I'm excused a little bit. I won't make the mistake again. 100 Thieves Academy, they're taking away champions that are meant to empower Griffin's Hecarim in this one. They already do have the Ahri in the mid lane for Blaze, which allows for a lot of early game movement for Griffin. Very similar to what we just saw from Counterlogic Gaming Academy in the previous game that we just watched, game 2. Zillion does a lot to make sure the Hecarim has a good time in this game. I would imagine that another champion for Jashuka is going to be banned away. There's that Leona. You also don't want to have that crowd control setup because, as I was saying before, Griffin is the big premier player on this team that is going to make a lot of these plays happen, especially early.
Looking towards what they grab for Jashuka in this bot lane. If it's going to be that Alistar that we've been seeing slowly climb back up into the meta, or the Nautilus that I know a lot of other players, like I talked to Rovex recently, who don't really like that pick nearly as much, but it's Galio that gets locked in for the bot lane instead.
It's really cool. Very large crowd control radius with the ultimate and the taunt. So you can have some really explosive, large team fights that Hecarim really does appreciate as well.
Yep.
I was mentioning that Jashuka likely was going to pick a champion to link up with Griffin as soon as possible. Galio does that very well, and he's got some semi-global pressure that hasn't been seen from the support role in this meta in quite some time.
Right. Look at that, the Gnar pickup. So my intuition was correct. Graves is flexed into Kenby's hands. This jungle works well too with a power farming jungler on the other side, such as Hecarim. Gives Kenby a lot of leeway in the early stages of the game to power farm as well and get to those powerful points that you tend to see from a Graves jungle.
Have good power here from the mid lane. If this is the lock-in for Jimmian, it would secure the Kai'Sa going over to Wixie as we expected. And with the Gnar as well for Gamsu, this is a champion that he can very easily play that weak side style quite well. This is a player that is very stable a lot of the time. Sometimes if he does have a lot of pressure in his lane, it can be rather exploitable. So I like to see this style of champion for him, one that he can just void the laning phase and farm it out safe as can be and go into the later game a lot safer and a lot more impactful in that late game. Camille makes that pretty hard though.
Yeah, it does. There's a reason why I'm not a big fan of blind Gnars, and it's because you can easily take picks that just dominate him in lane. Aurelia being one of them. Dragoon has a very unique champion set in this top lane.
Yeah.
Camille is a great pick into the Gnar. Might suffer a bit early on, but once you get a couple of levels under your belt, a couple spells available, that's when the Camille suddenly turns online, especially because you see that Ignite in Dragoon's pocket. We're expecting some early shenaniganeries on the top side.
Yeah, we know that Dragoon has some crazy champions he can pull out. Things like the Darius that's been banned away.
Yep.
Set, Mordekaiser, all these ones that have been locked in just this split alone multiple times. Camille, a bit tame in relation to that pool that we just named, but still very effective. And I do like this one a lot. It sets up very well for Griffin, not only him in the early game. Camille Galio is a duo that we've seen so effective in the entire course of those two champions being in the game at the same time. So really excited for that combination duo play for Dragoon and Jashuka. So we go into this one. This is a really, really big fight style composition here for No Team, and that's why we get so excited about these guys.
Right, and that's why I'm so glad you talked about the Camille and Galio combination, because that's what obviously is the first thing that I noticed. The Hecarim is a great one with that as well. Ahri can dive in. The only one who really can't is going to be Xayah, and it's that lethality poke Xayah that we expect to see. I will spoil this a little bit for everyone at home. We don't see the summon Ahri. It is that lethal tempo.
Oh.
Maybe, just maybe, when we go out into the Rift, it will be crit Xayah, going back to the tried and true.
That's true. I didn't actually notice that, but you're 100% right on that. Scoop did elect for this not summon Ahri, going for the lethal tempo. We'll see what that means for this game, and if it does in fact mean that Scooped will be going for a different variety in his build path. So we're going to be loading in here pretty soon. I'm super excited for this. I mean, to touch on the point that you were making about the Xayah not quite fitting in with the dive style, It does, but not in the way you would think. It certainly can't dive in like something like a Kai'Sa or a Tristana, but if you leave her on her own, she's a very solid kiting champion. And that's really solid when the rest of your squad is just going forward, because if this is something that's not very mobile like an Aphelios, he probably would just die.
Fair point.
Xayah's not like that.
Yep, those are fair points to bring up, Smacks, but we are now loaded up onto the Rift. It is our second best of 3 of the day. No team tried to have a little bit of shenaniganeries in the spot lane, but got spotted out by a nice ward placed down by 100 Thieves Academy's support in Busio. It will be a reset. They have a bit of a goon squad into the jungle. I'm not expecting to see anything too aggressive. Just a couple of wards placed down by both sides.
Wow, that ward from No Team is really clever. And Griffin now knows that both Kenvi and Gamsu are on this side of the map. Dragoon will be falling in line. They do spot out where Griffin is.
Look where Dragoon is. They've got a lot of damage onto Griffin initially. They force him away, get the ghost out of him, but now Scoop, Tashuka, they're both here. They can flash in. Look at that flash forward, getting double flashes out and one taunt onto Kenvi, but no further follow-up.
Forcing double flash from Gamsu and Kenvi allows for Dragoon and Griffin to really take action on this side of the rift. They need to scout out that this is happening. Dragoon weaving in and out of this brush. He knows that they're here now.
Oh, man, they do not relent this pressure in the top side of the map. Tashuka is forced to stay nearby, but he's spotted out on that ward. Could be a smite fight over the red. Could be a little bit of damage, but now that Blaze has shown up as well, this isn't boding too well for No Team. Sure, there aren't any kills, but the lane priorities that are now gained by 100 Thieves Academy initially out of this game has got every single lane set up.
Griffin did still get that red buff, and Kenvi denied a bit, but as you're mentioning, Jashuka's not here in this lane, and Scooped will just have to cope with that, as Wixie and Busio get to set up as much priority as they want in this lane. Luckily, Scooped has his Q, the feathers there, to get some of these minions back. I say that as he misses that one, but he's got some more safety than other marksmen and a lot more range at that, so Scooped not too beaten up about it.
No, but I do like these plays from 100 Thieves. These are incremental advantages you're gaining for the team. It's about how you utilize these into their next upcoming plays. Because we look at each of these lanes, you could go for something like that. You got a level 2 experience lead, and with flashes already used by Scoop, that is now a lane that Kenvi can visit to try to punish.
It's a good taunt from Jashuka to make sure the kill doesn't come through, but as you said, yeah, that lane really deadly once they hit level 2. Scooped, forced to flash out. He's got a bunch of potions, but that is not a comfortable place to be in this lane. And now Kenvi arriving to this side of the rift, steals it away.
The smite to heal up, but there's no ghost, no flash, no escape as Kenvi continues, and he hunts down the pony.
Good looks there from Kenvi, and now Jashuka not in position to save this.
And they got no flash on Scooped, but they got a lot of damage on Busio, but still it's the kill for Wixie with no help at all. I believe the TP had been canceled by Jimmy, and so Blaze cannot save this Galio from certain death, even with Ignite onto Busio. It's a kill for Kenvi. Oh, wait a minute. Scooped got the kill.
Scooped got the kill. I have no idea how that happened, but Scooped pretty thankful that that did occur because he gets the double buffs.
Right.
Because he respawned. I don't know how that just happened, but 400 Thieves, that was a successful dive in the end. Just one kill going over and a lot of extra power now in this bottom lane. And Matt Magical, Wixie and Busio have been playing so well throughout this entire split. I got to give them a lot of credit, but firstly and primarily, Kenvi is the one who's really punishing the early game here.
And the fact there's no flash on Scoop, it was an easy dive. But here's where things gotta go right. And I'm gonna watch to see if Jashuka really didn't hit Kenvi at all.
I'm really surprised as well.
Yeah,
but,
never did.
I can't believe that one.
Yeah, I had to watch it closely. That's why I was just inspecting that thing, looking, waiting to see if there was going to be a taunt or anything, but there wasn't.
Ooh.
That was a nice body block right there with the taunt from Jashuka, but guess who's here? It is Ken, revisiting a summonless bot lane and getting all this damage onto the bot lane. Jashuka uses that Justice Punch away. He will survive, but only just.
Man, if Jashuka didn't get the taunt cancel onto Busio's grand entrance, they would have both certainly died there.
Yes.
So big shout out to Jashuka. Really solid mechanics. Kenvi is relentless at this point, though, Mad Magical. 100 Thieves next are really bringing it to this bottom lane. And Wixie and Busio, as I was saying, are so strong as a pair in this split. And they're going to be able to be put on that pedestal to show it to the world on this Proving Ground stage that they can be the big carries, even though they're the rookie members of this squad.
Seen that already with how dominant they're playing at this lane state. So I will give credit over to Scooped and Chuka. It has been a rough bot lane right out of the gate. There's a lot of early pressure, and right there, body block on the Dust Punch. Even if you have a double taunt, you're still fairly squishy as Galio early on. So Jimmy could rotate around, but Blaze can too. They got the kill onto one, looking for Blaze as the second casualty. The flash over the wall can be! He's still alive! He's still healing up, but finally he's finished off by Scoop, and the play works out for 100 Thieves.
Man, I was holding my breath to see if the quick draw would come back up for Kenvi, but no avail. One kill going over again to No Team, again to Scooped.
He's got another red buff.
He can't walk up. The red buff is back. It's made a return.
He lost the double buff, so now he gets the red buff instead. But it's the biggest problem is that is a massive minion wave that has been crashed into this tier 1 turret. It is only 6.5 minutes into the game at the moment, Snacks. We're having plays like this.
Yeah, let's watch this one more time. Again, we see Jashuka able to avoid the grand entrance. I think that one was more user error from Kenvi. He blocked the punch, and Busio was trying to do the same thing, but they weren't quite the same page. Still worked out in the end, as we do see Busio and Kenvi able to clean those ones up, and Jimmy arriving to the play as well. Blaze, even with the potential to get all those resets, he's just not powerful enough at this early stage of the game. You do need some more extra power in your items on this Ahri to deal that crazy amount of damage, and Kenvi's already there. He's already got his components for Gore Drinker. This is a very scary Graves.
And I look at No Team, what they can possibly do in this. This is a 5v5 composition that they want to fight consistently, but it's hard to fight back when you don't even get out of the lane phase, when you're constantly getting harassed by every member of 100 Thieves.
And for 100 Thieves, this is exactly how you would expect them to play this game. Dominance in the jungle from Kenvi, playing around this bottom lane that's been performing super well, and Jimmy able to make the plays happen when they are near him. Gamsu not actually having any heat on him either. Griffin's not made his way up to that lane to try to punish him, not having that flash from the early invade, and Dragoon playing the Ignite Camille hasn't been able to find any really big meaningful pressure there either. So this is picturesque for 100 Thieves. Oh my word, all that damage onto Blaze too.
I'm getting worried for No Team at this point on what they're gonna be capable of soon. Because here, Griffin tries to make a play, but he has no mana. Even with Jimmy now showing up, he's the first one on the call. They've got way too much on top of Griffin to even escape. Well, top lane, Gamsu, he gets a solo kill on a Dragoon who over-aggressed.
I hope we get to see that one, because Gamsu looked like scooped him into the turret range.
So too.
Solo kill for the defending Proving Grounds top laner champion. Oh, wow, Mad Magical. It looks like 100 Thieves are actually just winning every single lane at the same time.
This is looking like what we'd expected from 100 Thieves Academy. We get to see this replay of the top lane, and I'm curious. I think it is just to get scooped underneath the turret.
He doesn't have a very full rage bar, so Dragoon thinks he has all this time available, but look at that crowd control setup. No flash here for Dragoon. He has the Ignite instead. Oh, wow. Really impressive stuff from Gamsu. This is what happens when you don't pressure this player. He can win out on these lanes. Even though he's known to be the stable member of this team, you leave him alone for too long, and he can pull out these big mechanical plays.
And while I don't like the Blind Gnar personally, this is one of Gamsu's favorite champions to play. This has been historically his most played champion throughout his entire career. And you can see that he understands the nitty-gritties of the mechanics, even into matchups like Camille, where he can wait out, get the Mega Gnar form at the nick of time to scoop him underneath the turret and get a solo kill.
Awesome stuff from Gamsu. And, you know, we're singing his praises right now because it's not every day you see Gamsu get a solo kill. This is a really good moment for him and for his team, who are already winning around the entire rest of the Rift. Kenvi able to set up for another kill while we were talking about that top lane play in the bot side. And we're seeing Scooped. He's able to get one turret plating for himself, but he is just so far behind in this matchup. And Wixie on this Kai'Sa is going to be scaling up to be a huge poke threat in this game. Whether or not he actually gets into those team fights is going to be interesting, but you have all this extra range, which is something that if Wixie's not ahead, 100 Thieves do kind of lack.
All right, so I do want to... Okay, I got to put it on pause right now because Scoop just took a lot of damage there. Just from the flux out of Jimian. Even though the team is on top of the Rift Herald, it's looking dicey. The rest of 100 Thieves can collapse on top of it. There's the quickest pop, and there's the engage.
Wow.
They've stolen away the Rift Herald right away from No Team, and this is not looking like an escape for them. It is 10 kills at 11 minutes for 100 Thieves.
Man, did you see that movement from Busio and Kenvi? It's
Beautiful.
like they were a duo, like figure skater pair right there. Busio using him as the springboard with his ultimate and with his battle dance. That was amazing. As a Rakan player myself, I love plays like that. So big moves from 100 Thieves. And look, he's even taking away the Raptors.
Oh, Jesus. He's got 2 levels on Griffin at this point. Sure, he couldn't get the kill there with the collateral damage, but he's already got enough. He's forced out Griffin. This 15-year-old jungler is getting the worst treatment you could possibly think of for any jungler here in his first game of the Proving Grounds, where he can't even jungle, can't even clear anymore. He doesn't have many options left.
And historically speaking, Mad Magical, this is the Kenvi treatment. This is what happens when you play up against this guy. He will crush you. So we're seeing a force of the Galio ultimate, and Busio is just too mobile to make it actually a worthwhile punish.
And the turret's gonna fall. It's a full charge. That's first turret secured by 100 Thieves, and no less being that tier 1 mid lane. If Kenvi didn't already have enough pressure and control over Griffin before, well, now it's just looking like it is his jungle instead of Griffin's.
That was even before taking the turrets as well, Mad Magical. Now that that mid lane turret is dead, it's going to become even more bleak for Griffin's potential of farming into this game.
Well, it's
Wixie gets a little bit more damage on this bottom side turret. No Rift Herald has been used there. That's just the pressure of Wixie and Busio. And mostly just Wixie, if you'll remember, because Busio's been roaming everywhere. Wixie dominating this matchup against Scooped.
Right. It's been hard. Every single lane is struggling for No Team at this point. The jungler can't make plays. Your top lane, unfortunately, got solo killed by the opponent top laner. Mid lane, Blaze, he had his TP canceled by Jimmy, and so he couldn't even join in that dive to save his bot lane before, and the bot lane got dove twice already.
For No Team, in their past games in the Unified Tournament, we know that they are expert team fighters, and we also know that their early game wasn't quite up to par. They did struggle there. Most of their games that they won in the finals were comeback victories.
That is true.
And we're seeing that bleed over into this game against 100 Thieves Academy as well, where they're able to have this just really crushing early game advantage, because that's what Kenvi's really good at in League of Legends. That is something that has been a main strength of his for as long as he's been a player in the amateur and academy ecosystem. Ever since those days on 100 Thieves Next, this is what Kenvi has been all about. So for No Team, they're facing the harsh reality that they are up against a top tier jungler in our entire region, and Kenvi's bringing it to them.
Plus, you're facing off against Kenvi's Graves. We haven't really got a hit on how important that is for Kenvi. One of his favorite champions to play here and absolutely dominate on. Sure, the 2 deaths that he has are the only 2 kills that No Team have at the moment, but it's because he has been making these plays right from the get-go. Level 1, invading Griffin to punish him at every single step, and even getting the second dragon at just shy of 15 minutes.
Objective bounties spawned as early as they possibly could in this game at this point, and Blaze is struggling to even side lane against Gamsu right now. Really tricky position to be in for No Team. They're going to need a miracle at this point. About 10k down, 15 minutes in. Oh man, the scooped. That's not good. Already pulling up the surrender. That's not what you want.
Here's Kenvi too. He's invading. He's found Shuka, and even with that charm, the taunt does nothing to deter him. 1v3. He is fighting this. The snipe isn't there for Wixie, but he doesn't really need it because they force him out. Here's Onslaught of Shadows dodged away by that quick draw coming in from Kenvi. Even having the battle dance where they can continue to skirt around the battlefield so No Team get no advantages.
And it feels like No Team are just using their ultimates just to hope to survive in these exchanges at this point, Mad Magical. Under Thieves, they have their way with the Rift. We haven't even talked about this, but they were able to take 2 full turrets in that bot side in one fell swoop. Now looking for more destruction in the mid lane. Wixie and Busio are here. Kenvi more interested in taking away these camps, and you can't blame him. He's against Hecarim. He just wants to deny all of these camps and make sure that Griffin cannot participate in this game as the main carry of his team.
Kenvi's bought up all the land. He's now the landlord of jungle, where Griffin can only rent out and see if he can grab a couple of camps here and there. He is so far behind everyone on No Team, struggling to get back into this game. Being that they are a team that loves to fight around these team fights you talked about before, this draft really leans into that. When you're this far behind, we're only 16 minutes into the game, Smacks, and it's nearly a 10,000 gold lead for 100 Thieves.
There's one silver lining in this game, Mad Magical, and typically you wouldn't be there, but in this particular game, Scooped did decide to go for the crit build, and he is going to be a bigger scaling Xayah than what we usually see from this champion in today's meta. So for No Team, they have that in their back pocket as a possibility if this game does go late. But I have a feeling that's going to be one of the few positive things I say here.
A 2-level lead for Jimian. 1v2. Here comes the heroic entrance. They've got the kill on a rise, but now they've got to escape. They're not going to be. That was a huge Nor ult 2 double kill. Make it 3 dead on the side of No Team.
No Team attempt to make a play on top of the mid laner for 100 Thieves Academy, but they get him and then they get hit in the head by all of the harsh reality that Gamsu and Kenvi are bringing in this game. As we were just exclaiming about the turret damage, I assume.
No! Wixie just died.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah! He got killed by Dragoon and Scoop. Yeah. Yeah, let's take a look at this replay first. Yeah, exactly. Same here. But we'll look at this first to see how this play worked out. Honestly, it's just nice kiting out from Jimmy and to start it all off.
And all his crowd control as well from Busio. I think Scooped just died.
All right. Well, things are happening.
We're seeing both AD carries are getting bored.
I feel like both teams are getting bored because look at Kenvi. Again, 1v3, and he doesn't give a damn. He continues to fight. Griffin is so far behind at this point, even with the fear of the charm right there to get the Wombo combo. They can tail it up and get one more kill onto Gamsu. Nor can they. Gamsu outplays them both.
And I like the crowd control chain onto Kenvi. He can't use the Gore Drinker, which might have been able to save him in the end. It's another pick for No Team, but again, they're giving up just so much to find even a single kill onto the opposition. They're now down 12,000 gold 18 minutes into this game. Those are some big numbers. And 100 Thieves next, they're looking for even more. Maybe they can find Scooped again.
Yeah, Scoop though will be safe underneath the turret this time around. Even if Jimian is looking for the dive with Busio. Oh God, Smacks, this game, it's feeling doom and gloom for No Team. And even though this is a team that is experienced in team fighting, dragging back games and having epic comebacks, this is not looking like one of those games that is going to be possible to do so. With the fact they're down 11k at under 20 minutes into the game, and right there, they step out to get a little bit of vision control, but Kenvi is always there to wait them and to silence them before they can put down any wards. It's just looking like it's a GG go next.
It's a struggle here for no team. I am right there with you. I think the comeback is unlikely as Scoop gets flashed on.
Yeah, but he was able to go to the Feather Storm. They are chasing this one all the way into the base. The heal is barely what keeps Scooped alive, but all the while at the Dragon Pit, we have the fight on to Griffin, who wanted to get that dragon but couldn't do so. It's going to be secured on the side of 100 Thieves, and 2v1. Cleanse comes out. Blaze got one kill, but Gomsu is not deterred. Throws a boulder in the face of Dragoon. Manidar will die to Blaze. He's shut down, but what was happening? All the while on the top half of the map, Shelly got a charge onto the inhibitor.
Rift Herald popped, inhibitor half HP. The turret destruction is massive for 100 Thieves on the other side of the rift. And meanwhile, in the Drake Pit, it's full chaos, but it still favors 100 Thieves. They steal away the dragon and they kill the enemy jungler again. Oh man, no team just cannot catch a break anywhere. Apart from maybe this bot side turret. Blaze picks up an objective bounty for himself. That's something.
Silver linings.
It's just not enough.
Silver linings. That's it. Look at how the gold is spread across the map for 100 Thieves. Every single lane has a commanding lead over their opposition.
I don't know if tornadoes have silver linings, but it definitely feels like that's what no team is getting hit by at this point. Kenvi whirling down the fields of no team, taking every single thing, picking it up and throwing it away as he's setting up for this Baron. Spotted, Griffin's here.
Griffin's here, but he's bounced around. Onslaught of Shadows is too late to steal that away, and now he's locked in the pit for Wixie to pick up his own kill, while the rest of no team have to run for the hills, but Gomsu would look for that engage. He's got the Goomba Stomp, but he misses the smash down. The Charm connecting will make sure that he's going to rejoin his team while the rest of no team scurry back to their base.
You gotta make that play. You gotta attempt it if you're Griffin. Just a little too short because of the crowd control chain from Busio, the savior of this game. He has done so much work for this squad in this game here in Mad Magical. I'm so impressed by this new jungler, or this new support, I should say. Role swapped in 2021 over to this role from mid, and he is really taking this entire role, this entire region by storm. As you know, all the supports for 100 Thieves this year are role swaps from mid initially, and it seems to be working out for this org, man. All their supports are doing so well.
The support's doing well, and Kenby is massive as well in this jungle role. Look at him. 8-3 as they start to topple these structures in the base of no team. 22.5 minutes into the game, an exposed inhibitor on the top side. They're about to crack the final inhibitor turret in the bot lane while getting two inhibitors at the same time. No fight from no team.
There's no way for them to engage this. They need Blaze to maybe find a charm. They need Jashuka to maybe find a taunt, or perhaps a Camille
went
ultimate.
in. They've got one going golden. Kenby is their target, but they couldn't kill him. And Dragoon's the first to fall. Busio will be the next. But this is the fight that 100 want. They've got no team out of their base. They've got their roots. They've got the damage. They're getting the flashes and the realm warp. They want to continue to chase down Blaze and Griffin, the two surviving members of no team. This has been a crushing defeat for the amateur number 2 seed, but a great win for 100 Thieves Academy, showing that they are here to compete to regain their title of Proving Grounds champions from summer with this first victory over amateur.
And Mad Magical, I think that was even faster than the play-in games for 100 Thieves Academy. They are really peaking at the right time. They are really coming together as a squad and destroying these early games right now. Kenvi, how did he come out ahead in that play? Do you remember the level 1 play? He and Gomsu had to flash out of the enemy team's jungle, empty-handed, no smite steal away. And then he doesn't care. He just goes bot lane anyway. First Blood's Griffin, ganks bot lane, gets the dive off, and doesn't stop there. The entire game was thanks to Kenvi. And the rest of the squad really followed up so well after that. I'm so proud of these guys for making the growth happen.
It's an outstanding performance from these players. Thing that they're able to bounce back from a really difficult spring split, where there were definitely some high highs but low lows along with that. to now see that they are a team that are playing to the capabilities everyone had put on them at the very beginning of this year.
I'm really impressed. I was definitely one of those people that had 100 Thieves at the top of my power rankings early on, and it's because of stuff like this. They may not have had an easy time hitting that level in the Academy regular season. They did place bottom 4, but this is the style that we were expecting to see from them. We know that these guys are capable of stuff like this. They just showed it to us in Game 1. We're going to see if they can do it in Game 2.
We also have to see if no team can bounce back from a devastating loss here to 100 Thieves Academy in our second round. Otherwise, they will be knocked down into the lower bracket. But we're going to toss to a break for now. When we come back, our wonderful host of Sierra will be here for our halftime show. Make sure you stay tuned.